Ladies and gentlemen, and hockey fans of all ages, welcome back to another exciting edition of Randy Talks Hockey. My name is Randy Dillon. It is about mid-November in the NHL season, and we're creeping right along to the quarter mark. Teams playing about 20 games. Some teams have hit the 20 games, some teams have not, but it's a good time to start evaluating teams, see where they are in the regular season. Today's episode will be looking mostly at the Western Conference, the Pacific, and the Central Division. I'll give you my information about the team to let you know how I think they're doing, good, bad, etc. But first, some hockey news as always. Now, we all know the big story, ladies and gentlemen, especially here in Canada. Don Cherry has been fired, let go, whatever you want, by Sportsnet for some poor choice of words he used on air on Coach's Corner this past Saturday. I'm not going to break down the whole segment. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. What Mr. Cherry said was wrong. No doubt about it. He could have said it better. I think Sportsnet, honestly, they could have, if they wanted to let Don Cherry go, why couldn't you wait after Novembrance Day? Why did you have to make it that date? Anyways, for a lot of us, we know Don Cherry, the good sums up guy on Coach's Corner. He's an iconic figure across Canada, hockey, etc. I wish Don Cherry the best. I'm sad to see him go. But in this day and age, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta be careful what you say, regardless of your age or views. Social media, it will eat you alive. But enough about that. Ilya Kovalchuk and the LA Kings, they might be snipping ties. According to reports and what an article I read on Yahoo, the Kings are finalizing a deal for Kovalchuk. Looked like he's going to be sitting for the next foreseeable future. He's not a big fan of that. Why not when you're a star player and you've been promised that time to play? Now, the bad news for the Kings in all this, if they decide to terminate Kovalchuk contract because he's over 35, that cap hit of $6.25 million or even more is going to be on the book. So the Kings, the Kovalchuk experiment went two ways. It's a kick in the butt for the Kings. They're really struggling at it. We're going to get into the Kings more later, but man, oh man, from bad to worse. You open a roster spot for another King, but you got to eat that cap for a year and a half. You see why teams were only wanting to give Kovalchuk that 2-year deal rather than the 3-year deal, but the Kings did. They got to live with it now. Robbie Fabry has found a home in Detroit, ladies and gentlemen. He was scratched for the Blues for a little bit. Then he got traded, and the Blues, they have had injuries with Tarasenko and Alex Dean being out. Tarasenko being out the long term, unfortunately. But 4 games, he has 4 points for the Red Wings, finding a home. It's a contract year for him. Stanley Cup winner. Good on you, Robbie Fabry. All right, let's get into our quarter season ranking and see how teams are doing. We're going to start off Pacific. As of I just checked right now, the Edmonton Oilers are the top 3 teams in the Pacific are, as I said, the Edmonton Oilers, the Arizona Coyotes, and the Vancouver Canucks. After that, you have the Calgary Flames, the Vegas Golden Knights. They are your 2 wild card, and then underneath that, the Anaheim Ducks, the San Jose Sharks, and the Los Angeles Kings. I think right now the Oilers, they get a thumbs up. They are probably one of the biggest surprises in the NHL next to the Islanders in their winning ways. I don't think many people expected this. Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, they're doing the heavy work. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he started picking up lately, but before not too much. James Neal, what an addition. He's scoring goals, 12. He's going to probably hit 25. Who knows? And they're getting great goaltending from both Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen. Smith, not so much last night against the San Jose Sharks, but still good. Dave Tippett, Ken Holland are getting the job done. We'll see if the Oilers keep up, but right now they are pretty much overachieving, and I think one of the biggest surprises in the NHL. After that, the Arizona Coyotes. A lot of people have been talking about Arizona for a long time in the offseason, saying this is going to be their year, and it looks like there is. I didn't think the Coyotes would do not that well. I was concerned with their goaltending with Ranta and Kemper, but they are doing great. They're one of probably, Kemper's number up at the top of the league, and the Ranta's not too far behind. But they're making the save. They have a great young supporting cast in Arizona. Phil Kessel, a slow start to the season, but man, oh man, he's picked it up lately. So the Coyotes, watch out for the Desert Dogs. They're making a run for it into the playoffs. Playoffs are still far away, but good on them. The Vancouver Canucks, you can say they're surprising, but after all the additions they did, I think they would be fighting for a playoff spot. It's getting done by Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser. They got a new captain in Bo Horvat, the rookie defenseman Quinn Hughes. Getting good goaltending from Jacob Markstrom and rookie goalie Thatcher Demko. All clicking for the Canucks. They went on a little bit of a slide lately. They just won their first in 5. We'll see how the Canucks will continue. Long couple of injury notes for them. They lost Brandon Sutter and Jay Beagle. How will that affect? Next, we go off to the Calgary Flames. Now, you would think the Flames, they would be higher in the standings after the season they had last year. But technically, their thumb were close where they were last year in the standing. In the middle of the pack, you can say disappointing or not, but the offense for them were a little hard started off for the season. I looked at the numbers for players like Gaudreau and Monahan and Lindholm who did slide off, but they're not too far off. Maybe a point or two or a couple of goals off, so they're not completely off. David Riddick was the big question for the Flames. He is getting it done. Mark Giordano still pushing away. He has looked a little slow at times, but that will happen when you get older. But can he keep it up for the Flames? You know they're going to keep battling. They know they're going to push. It's a big year for them. Matthew Tkachuk once again leading the way. The Flames, I don't think they're going to be here much longer. They're going to try to fight top for the Pacific. The Vegas Golden Knights, though, I am surprised about their play, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, they did not have Nate Schmidt for the first 20 games. This year, they do have Nate Schmidt, and they started off great. They were scoring, getting saves, and now they're in the middle of the pack. Now, they will pick it up, no doubt about it, but a full Nate Schmidt, you got the Mark Stone for a full year. Pacioretty scoring off. Everyone's there. So Vegas, I'm a little concerned with you, but so far so good. We'll say, you're all right. Now, in the Pacific Division, your we've got to talk about. You got the Anaheim Ducks, the San Jose Sharks, and the LA Kings not in the playoffs. But the Ducks, they have been surprising, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people wrote this team off. John Gibson playing stellar again. Dallas Eakins with his new chance in the NHL. And he is doing great with that. Ryan Getzlaf helping out. Ricard Raquel, Jakob Silverberg. But this is the big thing with the Ducks. They have no Josh Manson in the lineup. That's a big loss for them, and yet they're still finding a way to compete. They were in this spot last year, but right now the Ducks are doing well. I think they're doing better than what people, including myself, expected of them. So good on them. The San Jose Sharks, ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness. I thought this coming a little mile away because I'm like, they're not going to get a save from Martin Jones, and they haven't. But everything else has fallen apart in San Jose. Aaron Dell and Martin Jones are in the bottom of the league in top 10 worst saves and goals against. They're not getting scoring. They can't defend. It is looking nasty. They're quite a few points out of a playoff spot right now. They have won a few games, but not looking good for the Sharks. They look old, sluggish. They don't have much use other than Hurdle and Meyer. The defense, I think the trade for Justin Braun did really hurt them, and we're seeing that more. Vlasic still hasn't found himself, so the Sharks are not looking good. Can they pick it up? Who knows? They were struggling last year like this, but I don't think they have the tools where they can overcome it. The final team in the Pacific, the LA Kings, I think we all expected this for them. They're in rebuilding, but Drew Doughty has made it entertaining. There's no doubt about it. But Jonathan Quick, everyone thought last year was a bad year. He had the second or third worst save percentage goals against in the league. A former two-time Stanley Cup Conn Smythe winner. What are you doing, Jonathan? Richard Campbell hasn't done better. The scoring really hasn't been there that much from other than Kovalchuk. Toffoli's been kind of invincible. Doughty's been in the media and all the wrong reasons. Like, oh my goodness, Los Angeles, what are you doing? But it is expected. All right, now we're going to head off to the Central Division. Right now, here's the standings in the Central. You got the St. Louis Blues, the Colorado Avalanche, Nashville Predators, 1, 2, 3. The Blues, Stanley Cup champions, are doing great, but I don't think they're getting enough credit. They're dealing with heavy injuries, and Tarasenko and Steen. Jordan Bennington thing, he's not a one-hit wonder. He's been putting stellar performances on. Good on the Blues. Now, for the Colorado Avalanche, I think we can say we expected them to be in this. They're in a good position when they got Mikko Rantanen signed, but they have been dealing with injuries, ladies and gentlemen. No Mikko Rantanen, no Gabriel Landeskog, Nikita Zadorov now off, and Philip Grubauer hasn't played the last few games. Yet this team is still finding a way on the backs of Nathan MacKinnon and rookie defenseman Cale Makar. It is absolutely incredible. Joe Sakic has done a good job with getting the depth in Burakovsky, Kadri, Donskoy. So the Avalanche, give them a round of applause. They're looking great. A dark horse possibly for the Cup. Still far away to tell. But man, oh man, it's been fun to watch them. Nashville, I think you can say expected where they are. They're a good team. They got rid of Subban, add Shane, Pekka Rinne still there. You still got Roman Josi signed to that long-term deal. Ryan Ellis, Matthias Ekholm. You got some good depth up front with Granlund, Forsberg. Turris looked like he's been helping on the offense. Kelly Yarko, Craig Smith. So the Preds are where they're expected to be, in the fighting for a playoff spot and going to make the playoffs, hopefully. Now, the Winnipeg Jets, they are right now out of a playoff spot, but they're right in that wild card hunt. But give a round of applause to them, ladies and gentlemen. The Jets have played incredible to start this season. Remember, no Dustin Byfuglien because he didn't report to training camp. Trouba, Myers, Sherrod, all gone. They got Nick Pion at the trade part of Trouba, but they are doing great. Now, the offense for the Jets have not been there. It has fallen off, but Connor Hellebuyck, you gotta give him he's been stellar. Last year, at the end, he had a goals against of 2.90. Already, he has a goals against of 240. He knows if the Jets want to contend, he gotta be there on top. So I think you gotta look out for the Jets. They can score as well. I know they're playing that little bit defensive zone because they don't have the defensive personnel, but they are in the thick of things. Now, disappointing is the Dallas Stars, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, a great season. They had some problems to start off with, but they were able to overcome. This year, they haven't hit the injury bug, but man, oh man, they can't score. Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin last year combined for 31 points at this point. Right now, they have 16 points. What's going on? Rupel Hentz is leading the team in goal. Ben Bishop hasn't been making saves. The defense has been horrible. I thought Jim Montgomery was going to be fired, as I stated in some earlier videos. They have picked it up lately, but also you got to think about this way. They added Joe Pavelski, who has struggled to score. So, Dallas, I don't know what the problem is. They have some ways to make up if they want to get back in that playoff contention. They're not too far out of a wild card spot. Got some work to do, but they have turned their ways around. Chicago Blackhawks, they have been disappointing, ladies and gentlemen. You think after all the acquisitions they made in the middle of the late last year, getting Dylan Strome in the offseason, Ole Maddock, Helmut Dahan, Robert Leonard, they should be doing better. Well, it's not. I don't know if it's Jeremy Callahan, the coach. They haven't started Robin Leonard that much. That's why I thought they gave him $5 million for 1 year. It's been more Corey Crawford. I think they got to start Leonard more. Seabrook's been out in and out of the lineup. Gustafsson, he's been not him same. Dylan Strome as well. DeBrincat's starting to pick it up. Jonathan Toews had a good year, but he's kind of slipping off. Patrick Kane's putting up. But it doesn't look good for the Hawks. They have a lot of work to do if they want to turn this season around. And finally, I think expected the Minnesota Wild. Last year they were horrible. This year the start has just been bad. The whole thing with Paul Fenton, Beryl Guerin, and Devin Dubnyk hasn't been that good. They have won some games. I haven't heard much about Zuccarello. It doesn't look good for the Wild at this point. Well, that's all I got for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this quarter review of the Western Conference. On Saturday, we will be back doing Pacific and hopefully talking about other hockey news. As always, my name is Randy Dillon, and always remember, watch some hockey. Hey, it's Wednesday. NBC Rivalry Night's on. So remember to watch that, or Scotiabank Hockey Night. I don't know. Choose which one. Have a good night, everyone.